Shavua Tov, good week to you. You know, we in Israel have our fair share of conflicts, but we're not used to long, drawn-out wars. You know, the 6-day war was only a few days long, well, between 5 and 7 days. And even Yom Kippur War, that lasted 19 days. And, I'm looking towards Hanukkah coming up, and I'm just wondering, will this continue to the end of the year, of the Gregorian year? Will it continue? You know, I know that long-term there's going to be missions going on and on to restore security and so on. But I just want you to pray with me for the soldiers, for strength, for stamina, for resilience, to see the mission through and to really restore security here. And the rocket barrages hitting Tel Aviv, right in the center of Israel. And yes, Hamas has Islamic Jihad, they have more and more rockets underground. You see they're hidden everywhere. We're finding them all the time. I don't know if you're seeing some of this precise work, clockwork. It's just day after day, finding, destroying tunnels. As you know, we've found about 800, over 800, destroyed about 400, or even more than that. And look at the massive drone infiltration happening. And it's just like a clash of civilizations here, because like every single major Western city is having these protests of hundreds of thousands of people or pro-Hamas rallies. And it's just so concerning. And we've got Mr. Blinken here, which is U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, visits Israel for the 4th time, and he's talking about a 2-state solution. I mean, I hear what he's saying, but I don't see what he's talking about with who, how, where. This is we're fighting for our survival. Again, none of us want to be here. If we could just go and prepare for Hanukkah, that'd be great. Light some candles and get some gifts ready for the kids. But no, we got to be here to protect our very families. And so look at what happened to some of these hostages. We're hearing some of their stories, being hurt, having to eat toilet paper just to fill their stomachs. What was this one UN, right? UNRWA, which is the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees. And so you have one of their teachers held one of our people for 50 days in the attic. And you wonder, some of these places, I go in and I see UN facilities, and I see like right under their noses or right in their facility is a whole bunch of weapons or an entrance to a tunnel. I found a tunnel you saw just the other day, and this was right next to the UN facility, and it was in a hospital, and I found it myself. And so we just got to keep removing the infrastructure. To defeat Hamas, we also have to remove their infrastructure. So not just tunnels, but all kinds of stuff. We got to put the pressure on them to release more hostages and rescue the hostages any way possible. And so making sure that Gaza will not threaten our life, threaten our family, and bring death and destruction to our doorstep. But people, talking about doorsteps, I know people, just keep this in mind. People are afraid of that knock on the door. They're worried that someone's going to knock on the door, and a military person will stand there and say, your husband, your boyfriend, your son, has fallen in the line of duty. And so, there's that stress. People just got living in a lot of stress, more than normal, since the trauma of the October 7th attack, and more stories are coming out about that. And even how we were deceived so thoroughly, so strategically by the Hamas. We thought, there was a peace festival. So many people believed them. But right now it's time to rally together and have hope. And what I always do right here in the midst of all this is I'll just look up to heaven. Now, I literally took a shofar, and in the middle of all the gunshots and in the middle of everything, I just blew a shofar in various places throughout Gaza. I planted an Israeli flag in Gaza, and I just declare, that even though, just like Gideon's men, Judges chapter 8, verse 4, Gideon and his 300 men had come to the Jordan River. They crossed over, they were exhausted, but they still pursued the enemy and completed the mission. That's what we're doing. And I take comfort in the words of like Proverbs 10, verse 25, as the whirlwind passes, so the wicked will be no more. But the righteous is an everlasting foundation. And these verses strengthen me, and they give us hope, because wickedness, that crime won't pay. Proverbs 10 verse 28 and 29, the hope of the righteous will be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. And the way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. And that is what we're believing, is that we're going to stand, be watchmen. We guard at night. You don't sleep much. You don't lay your head down. You stay and you guard in shifts. And we are watchmen over the house of Israel. Ezekiel 33:7, watchmen over the house of Israel. And will you watch? Will you stand in the gap right now and find a Jewish community, find a Jewish person, and go bless them. Say you stand with them, and we're gonna get through this. And I was telling my friends this, that sometimes when there are weeds in your garden, you have to get the gloves on and uproot them. Don't just pull off some leaves. You have to sometimes uproot the weed, so that once again the plants can produce fruit, and a beautiful garden can return.